What's up guys, how you guys doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is BJ Mighty, and in this video I'm going to be running you guys through 5 simple steps that you can use or that you can follow to find yourself a good name for your jewelry business. You see, naming your jewelry business can be a very easy and fun thing to do if you are a creative person, but it can also be extremely challenging and very stressful to the point that you'll be pulling your hair out if you are not a creative person, or if the god of creativity just happen to be on vacation. And the reason for stressing is very simple. You stress because you want a name that will not just resonate with you, but a name that also resonates with your customers. Second is, you want a name that will embody the vision that you have for your jewelry business. And lastly, you stress because you know that once you choose the name, brand it, tell the whole wide world about it, it's going to be very difficult for you to change it. This is enough reason to stress, honestly. So for real, I know what it feels like to be in your position because I've been through it several times myself, and experience has taught me a lot. And that's the reason why I'm making this video, to make it easy for you. So if you are coming new into the jewelry business, or maybe you're already established and you're looking to rebrand, definitely this video is for you. But first off, why should you even listen to me? Well, you should listen to me because I've been selling jewelry for 7 years, and then about 3 years ago, I became a jewelry business coach, and I coach people, I help them get started in the jewelry industry. So here are 5 simple and practicable steps to finding yourself a good name, an excellent name for your jewelry business. So before I dive into the topic, guys, I want you guys to subscribe to my channel and like this video so that I know that you guys enjoy the type of content that I'm putting out. Yeah, thank you. Number 1, you have to start with a why. Why do you want to start a jewelry business? It is very important that you answer this question, because answering this question, or the answer to this question, is going to help you figure out how much effort, how much digging and research you have to do in coming up with a name. So ask yourself, why do I want to start a jewelry business? Is it for my own ego, like to add CEO to my name, or to just tell people that, oh, I have a jewelry line, or to actually build a sustainable and profitable business that can actually change your life? The answer to this question is very important because it holds the key to how successful you are going to be in your business. So if you are simply starting a business for the clouds or for your own ego, choosing a name shouldn't be a big deal, shouldn't be a problem. You can simply just do any, many more and just choose one. But if you are here for a bigger goal, for a larger vision, then you want to continue watching this video. And that will lead us to step number 2. And step number 2 is also a question. And the question is, who are you? And what is your niche? This question is split into 2. And answering them is going to be very crucial, because it is by answering them that you will be able to clearly define your target audience. I know now you're going to be like, BJ, what is target audience? Don't worry, I'll explain. But first, let's try to answer the first part of that question, which is, who are you? So that we can connect it to your niche. So first off, I want to make an assumption, and I want to assume that most of us are going to be selling the kind of jewelry that we personally love and we don't have a problem rocking, right? I mean, that's my assumption, because jewelry is actually an emotional item. And if you don't love what you sell, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that you're not going to last in this space. So essentially, if you know yourself, it means you know your character, your attributes, your traits. And in that sense, you won't have a problem defining your target audience. And that leads me to the second question. What is your niche? Now, I like to describe niche as, for example, you take a bite of an apple. Now, that little bite in your mouth, that is a niche of that apple. So your niche is the kind of jewelry that you want to be known for. It's the kind of jewelry that you want people to associate with you. And that's the kind of jewelry that will appeal to your target audience. So now, what is target audience? So basically, your target audience are the people that are most likely going to be buying the kind of jewelry that you are selling. And understanding these people in and out is very important, so that you can come up with a name that can attract them. And if you don't know yourself, which is not a big deal, or if the kind of jewelry that you're selling is not the kind of jewelry that you would rock yourself, then it is very, very important that you know your target audience, which means you have to do a lot of research to understand, to know your target audience. Every jewelry is not for everybody, and everybody does not rock the same jewelry. So therefore, everybody is not your customer. So you want to be crystal clear on your customer. So now that you know yourself, you know your niche, and you know your target audience, it is now time to move on to the next step. And the next step is a very interesting one. Let's go. So it's a practical step. So what you're going to do is you are going to take a pen and a pad. Don't even use your phone. Don't use PC this time around. And I say so because there's an unexplainable connection that usually takes place, when you use your hand to write something. Or maybe because I'm just an old school guy, but there is this connection that takes place when you write something with your hand. So picture yourself as a chef, right? And your customer is the meal that you're trying to cook. So what you're going to do now is you are going to write down every ingredient that makes up the recipe. All right, I'll break it down. So basically what I'm trying to say is draw a line in between that paper. And on one side of that paper, you are going to write every attribute of your niche. Remember that you've identified your niche, right? So you're going to write down everything, every characteristics of your niche, everything that you can think about of your niche on that side. So take for example, when I started my first jewelry brand back in 2013, Mandilax, by the way, I was in the music industry, right? Specifically, I was doing hip hop. So as a rapper, producer, and DJ, I knew that I was creating it for people who watch MTV and BET. So if you watch MTV and BET, you are the kind of people that I had in my mind back then. So when I took a pen and pad, some of the things that I wrote down about my niche was luxury, gold, bling, icy, millennium, or millennials, sorry, new school, things about my niche, things about the kind of jewelry that I was selling, diamonds, flashy, bold, flamboyant, things like that was what I wrote on that niche. Now, on the other side of the pad, remember that we put a line in between, right? I'm going to write all the attributes, or you are going to write all the attributes of your target audience. So when I took a pen and pad back then, I knew that I was going to sell to men because, men dominate the hip hop scene, right? I wrote everything down. Rapper, musician, singer, DJ, producer. I wrote everything under target audience. So the simple exercise of writing down the attributes of my niche and the attributes of my target audience helped me come up with the initial names that I came up with before I finally settled for Mandilax. And this is the exact process that I've used in naming all of my jewelry brands, because I have more than one brand now. And this is what I teach my students or my clients in my jewelry coaching program as well. And that will lead us to step number 4, which is actually brainstorming the names. So now that you've made up a list of the attributes or the ingredients of your niche and of your target audience, so you are going to switch to brainstorming mode. So you are going to start to think of what word can I add to what word to invent a new word. But there's a catch here. You are not just going to pick up any word that looks nice or that sounds nice to you. You want to make sure that whatever word that you pick, it is a core word of your target audience or a core word of your niche. Take for example, a core word of my brand Mandilax is man. Yeah, because that brand was created for men only, even though today it is for men and women. So after writing down the attributes of my niche and my target audience, I had man and I also had luxury. So I was looking for a way to connect them together. So I came up with Man Deluxe. So in my head, there's a soap in Nigeria called Lux. And I didn't want my brand name to be named after a soap. So that was how I changed Lux to Lax. That was how the name Mandilax was born. So you must keep your customers in mind and make sure that whatever word that you choose is attractive to them, makes meaning to them immediately they hear it. So while you are in the brainstorming mode, I'm going to give you some tips now that are going to help you to come up with names faster. The first thing you can try to do is you can try to rhyme words. For example, if you take jewelry, think of what else rhymes with jewelry. Berry jewelry, that rhymes. If you take a core word like sparkling or sparkle, you could take another word that rhymes with it. Sparkle, daku. Sparkle, blackwood, or clams, gems, or whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud right now. So you can start to see what words rhyme with what words. Another thing you can do is you can play on words. You can come up with a name like, if your core word is gold, you can come up with a name like the Goldfather instead of Godfather. See how you can play on words. See how you can flip things and come up with a new word. That's the second one. So you can rhyme and you can play on words. Another thing you can do is you can use metaphors. Right now, the metaphor I can think of is I don't know, gold gods. Yeah, gold gods. Gold gods is a good metaphor. Gold gods. Another thing you can use is you can use thesaurus. If you find a word that appeals to you, put it into thesaurus or put it into Google and type another word for that word. And Google will give you a lot of suggestions and you can pick from there. Another very nice trick that you can use is you can borrow words from other languages. Yeah, like recently, I helped someone name their jewelry brand, and it was a word that was actually borrowed from my Yoruba name. You can see how you can borrow words, terms from other languages. These are the summary of the tips that you can use. You can rhyme words, you can play on words, you can use metaphors, you can mash up words, you can use thesaurus, as well as borrow words from other languages. If you find yourself in a brain block kind of situation whereby you can't even come up with anything, well, there is still hope for you. If you find a word but you cannot find another word to merge with it, simply go to www.namemesh.com. Put that word, that one word that you find, put it into namemesh.com and see what it brings up. For sure, if you choose any of these guideline or style or category, you are going to come up with more than one name. So just keep writing and keep writing until you can write no more. And when you are done writing, take a look at all the names that you've written. Start to cross out the one that doesn't make meaning, or doesn't, or you're not feeling, or doesn't make sense, and leave out the ones that you feel some sense of attachment to. That will lead us to the last step, step number 5. Hopefully, you are not going to end up with just one name. I'm hoping that you will end up with 2 or 3 names by the time you cross out all the ones that you are not feeling. And this is very, very important, because the last name that you pick, or the one name that you pick, is sometimes not the final name that you're going to settle for. And that is because of step number 5. The last step is to head over to the almighty google.com and type that name in it and see what it brings up. Maybe someone else is already using that name. Maybe that name has been copyrighted. Maybe that name means something totally different that doesn't make sense. You don't know. So put that name into Google and see what it comes up with. Personally, checking the name is something that I do simultaneously with brainstorming. So my process involves coming up with the names as well as checking the availability of the names. And in most cases, the availability of the name actually motivates my choice of that name. So I advise you to do what I do. Be coming up with the names and checking their availability at the same time. So you want to make sure that the domain name is available as well as the social media handle is available, especially Facebook and Instagram. But anyway, if you don't have the name on social media, there's a workaround. You could use the underscore, you could use the dot or something like that. But there's no workaround for the domain. That's the reason why you want to make sure that the name is available on the www. So basically, I advise you to combine the step number 4 and step number 5 together. Now, while you are at it, let me run you through some of the best industry practices of coming up with a good name, aka the do's and don'ts of a good name. Now, here are 5 do's and don'ts. The number 1 is you want to make sure that the name is short and simple. So the best brand names are usually short and simple, and that's why they are unique. Don't use more than 2 words combined. Don't use hyphen, weird character, numbers, and things like that. Don't use those things. They are not the best practices. Tip number 2, make sure it is easy to say and easy to spell. A good name must not be too difficult to write. It must not be too difficult to spell or to say or to communicate with someone. You want a name that you say it to someone and they already know how to say it, how to spell it. Another thing you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure that that name embodies what you do. A name that gives a clue about what you do is a very strong and powerful name. A name that tells someone exactly what they stand to gain from doing business with you is a very good name that you should choose. So make sure that whatever name that you choose is a name that gives a clue to what you do. Also, you want to make sure that your name is easily memorable. So a memorable name will linger in the minds of people. It will be easily memorable if it's short, if it's easy to say and easy to spell. And last but not least, you want to find a name that has an international appeal. And I say so because you don't want a name that is bound to your locality. For example, if you name your jewelry USA, that is bound to your locality. Also, always check the meaning of the name that you are picking so that you make sure that it doesn't have a weird meaning or an obscene graphic meaning in a different language. Yeah, I say so because we've seen brand names that sounds not so appealing to a different locality. So you want a name that has an international appeal. So these are my 5 sure steps to coming up with a good name for your jewelry business. So if you are one of those who found this video because you are looking to get into the jewelry business industry and you don't even know where to start, well, I have good news for you. But first, let me ask you, how would you feel if you had all the underground secret of starting a profitable and sustainable jewelry business of your dream? Okay, now let me ask you, how would you feel again to have it all for free without paying a dime for it? Okay, anyway, if you want to have it, all you have to do is go into the caption below and click on the link that says the Secret of Jewelry Business ebook. And that link will take you to the page where you are going to get the free ebook that I'm talking about. Guys, I'm talking about an ebook that you can actually use to start to build your own jewelry business today, right now. So it doesn't matter what time of the year, month, day, time that you are watching this video. All you have to do is click that link below and it will take you to the page where you are going to get this free ebook that I'm talking about. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me once again. And I go by the name BJ Mighty, your #1 jewelry business coach. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, this is my Instagram handle. If you have any question after reading the ebook or any question whatsoever, just slide in my DM and I'm more than happy to relate with you. Okay, once again, don't forget, click the link below and that link will take you to the page where you are going to get this free ebook that I'm talking about. All right, now before I get out of here, man, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if you've learned something from it, so that I am motivated and I know that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. Yeah, thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget my slogan, intelligence and ruggedness. Peace out, y'all.